All right, if you're even thinking about getting a telehandler, chances are you've heard the name Manitou. It's just one of those brands, right? But here's the thing, they have a ton of options. So how in the world do you pick the right one? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We are going to break down their entire construction lineup, series by series, so you can find the perfect machine for your job site.
So, let's get right down to it. What's the fundamental problem we're trying to solve here? It's all about lifting, moving, and placing materials with, and this is the key part, precision. If that sounds like your day-to-day challenge on the job site, then yeah, you're in the right place, and a Manitou could be exactly what you need.
And you know, Manitou really bases their whole philosophy on three big ideas: sheer raw power, incredible Swiss Army knife versatility, and just rock-solid, battlefield-tested reliability. It sounds good on paper, right? But let's actually see how they pull that off across their whole lineup.
Okay, so first things first, let's meet the family. We're talking about four main series here. And I think the best way to think about them isn't just as different models, but more like a highly specialized crew. Each one has a very specific job to do, a unique skill they bring to the table.
And first up on the crew is the MT series. You can think of this one as the all-rounder, the MVP of the team. I mean, this is the dependable workhorse you see everywhere, right? From masonry jobs to framing crews, it just gets the job done. No fuss.
Next, we've got the MRT series. And if the MT is the workhorse, this is the agile acrobat. The R in MRT, well, that stands for rotating. And trust me, that one single feature completely changes the game. It adds a whole new dimension to how you can tackle a lift.
Okay, now for the big one. Meet the MHT series, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the Manitou lineup. When you're dealing with ridiculously heavy loads and the conditions are just brutal, this is the beast they built to take all that punishment and then some.
And rounding out our team, we have the Compact series, what I like to call the Urban Navigator. This is the specialist you call in when you need to squeeze serious lifting power into spaces that a normal telehandler just can't get into. All right, so now you've met the whole crew. Let's dig a little deeper, right? We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of what each of these specialists is really good at and connect their key features directly to the kinds of jobs they were literally born to do. So, starting with the MT series again, this is your ultimate jack of all trades. Seriously, if your day is a mix of everything, lifting pallets of bricks, shifting framing materials around, you name it, this is the machine that's designed from the ground up to be your go-to all-day workhorse. And when you look at its features, you can see that perfect balance. The lifting capacity and height, it's right in that sweet spot for most common construction jobs. It's built tough, so you know it's going to last. And, a really big one, the controls are super easy to pick up, so operators can get up to speed fast. That combo right there, that's what makes it so popular.
Now, let's talk about the MRT. The magic, and I mean magic, is that rotation. Think about it. Instead of constantly driving the machine back and forth, repositioning for every single lift, you just park it once. That's it. The turret then does all the work, covering a huge 360-degree area. On a busy, complex job site, my gosh, that is an absolute game changer for your efficiency.
But you know, it's not just about the rotation. All these features work together as a complete system. So the turret gives you that incredible access, the crazy lifting height gives you the reach, and then the remote control. This is huge. It lets the operator get out of the cab and stand in the perfect spot to see everything, guiding that load in safely. It is an absolutely brilliant combination.
All right, on to the MHT. When the name of the game is just pure, unadulterated brute force lifting, this is the series engineered for that one job. And let's be clear, this isn't your typical construction site machine. We're talking about heavy industries, mining, ports, places where you measure loads in dozens of tons.
And just look at these specs. It's obvious this thing is an absolute monster. Everything on it is over-engineered for one single purpose: moving ridiculously heavy things safely. You've got that massive lifting capacity, a monster engine to handle the strain, and a chassis and stability system that is just rock solid. No compromises.
Okay, so what if your biggest headache isn't massive weight, but a tiny workspace? That's where the Compact series comes in. It's designed to give you some serious lifting power, but without that huge footprint. You know, perfect for residential jobs, landscaping, or even working indoors.
And the big takeaway here is that compact does not mean compromise. Not at all. You still get real lifting muscle. The real magic, though, is its maneuverability.
This little machine can slip and slide into spots that are totally off limits to its bigger brothers. And hey, the fact that it costs less to run, that's a pretty sweet bonus.
Okay, team introductions are over. Now for the fun part. Let's put them head to head. Seeing the raw numbers side by side is really the fastest way to understand exactly where each one of these machines truly shines. And to really wrap your head around the difference, just look at this. The biggest MHT can lift 10 times more than the biggest compact model. Let that sink in. That isn't a small gap, that's a canyon. It's the perfect illustration of just how specialized these machines really are.
Okay, here's the whole shebang all laid out for you. This table lets you compare all the key specs that really matter. Just find the lifting capacity you need or the height you have to reach, and you can instantly see which series you should be focused on. And again, look at that one column, that 360-degree rotation. That is exclusively an MRT thing.
All right, so you've probably got an idea of which series fits your needs. But wait, before you pull the trigger, there are always a couple of big questions that pop up. So let's just get them out of the way right now.
This is a big one for any piece of heavy equipment. How long is it actually going to last? I mean, this is a major investment, right? You're not buying it for just one project. You're buying a tool for the long haul. So what's a realistic lifespan? And the answer really comes down to this. It's all about how you take care of it. Seriously, hitting those big numbers, 10,000 hours or more, is absolutely possible. But, and this is a big but, it completely depends on you sticking to the maintenance schedule. It's simple. A well-serviced machine is a machine that will last.
And here's the other question we hear all the time. What about buying used? Can you get that legendary Manitou quality and performance, but maybe save a few bucks by looking at the used market? It's a great question.
And the answer is a definite yes. A used Manitou can be an amazing value. But, and you knew there was a but coming, you absolutely have to do your homework. There are two non-negotiables. First, demand a complete service history. Second, always get an independent professional inspection. Those two things are your best defense against a great deal turning into a giant headache down the road.
So there you have it. We've gone through the whole crew, the all-rounders, the heavy lifters, the 360-degree specialists, and the tight-space navigators. We've laid out the specs, tackled the big questions. Now you've got the roadmap. The only question left is, which one of these is going to be the machine that completely transforms your next project?